Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grenadier video. I'm going to go over all the things that make the Grenadier great, their strengths, how to use them, um, and why they're my personal favorite unit, but also why I think they're the best unit in the game. Um, Grenadiers, their power comes from the Gatling gun and the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is one of my favorite um, secondary weapons in the game. Probably my favorite overall because one, you get all types of fun grenades. You know, you have the acid grenade, the incendiary grenade. Um, you can also just use the straight up regular plasma grenades or frag grenades when you start. The the Grenadier, what's really useful about them is they're able to do a lot of high burst damage and they shred enemy armor. That is one of the key abilities, which we'll talk about later. They have a lot of different ways to take away enemy armor, which gets really useful late game when you're battling gatekeepers, when you're battling sectopods. All these units that have high armor, even turrets and mechs, they're high armor units. You use the shred ability to get rid of all that armor, and it makes it easier to kill them later on. Um, their primary weapon is they call it the cannon. It's basically a Gatling gun. And what you can do is you utilize um, you utilize the cannon to take away enemy armor, and you utilize the grenades to do a lot of damage to a high clump of units. One of my favorite things to do is you you have a pod, right? Because the pods generally travel in this tight, compact group. You set up your ambush with your other units, and then you pop a grenade in there. And what it does is it allows you to do, you know, 3 to 6 damage depending on what level of grenade you have. The different crit damage or crit bonuses. You're able to utilize the grenade to deal more damage than your gun can do, right? Because your gun, right? This is how much damage the gun does. The grenades do like, I think they start off 3 to 4, and then it's like 4 to 5, but then there's also some other damage points that you can hit. Okay, so let's just say let's give it a high roll. You do 10 damage, right, with the beam cannon. You utilize a plasma grenade. You hit 3 guys. You're doing 15 damage, so you're doing more overall damage. So I love utilizing that. Plus, grenades destroy cover. You could have a guy behind cover, and you're looking at, you only have 2 soldiers left to make turns, and you're like, how am I going to hit this guy? Well, you pop a grenade. Now he's wide open. You pop him with the other guy. So you can utilize the explosives from the Grenadier to make the game easier and make your shots easier. More importantly, and then on top of that, grenades don't really have a far range with your other soldiers. With the Grenadier, look at that, 5+ range on the advanced grenade launcher. That is huge. That is and plus the radius also gets increased. So you're just by using this, you're getting a +7 range effectively on your grenades. That is ginormous in XCOM. So now we're gonna get onto the abilities. The Every Grenadier starts with they get the grenade launcher. They get the cannon and the grenade launcher. So you get to fire this grenade much further. You get further range, and you also gain an extra inventory slot. Very underrated. You get 2 grenades. Look at that. So all your other guys, they only get 1 grenade. This guy, not only does he throw it or launch it further, he gets a second grenade. So, like I said, I love grenades. Give me all the extra grenades I'm allowed. So with the other builds, the first rank could go either way, and it sort of sets you up later on like how you're going to build your soldier. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you have extra ability points left over and you have nothing else to spend them on, always get Shredder. I'm serious. Shredder is so much more useful than blast padding. Whoop-de-doo, you take a little bit less damage. That's not how you play XCOM. The way you play XCOM is you want to prevent the enemy from doing damage in the first place. You want to take them down before they get a chance to attack. That's the ideal scenario. That's the ideal play. So when you're looking at this, you do Shredder. Late game, most enemies, if not all of them, have some form of armor. And when you look up here, look at all the shreds, right? The beam cannon shreds 3 points of armor. Now all your other units are doing 3 extra damage right then and there. That's so ginormous. Especially when you start facing enemies with like 30 health, you want to be shredding that armor. You want to take away that armor so that way when you're attacking it, all your other units aren't getting penalized. You want to shred it and get rid of it. So seriously, blast padding, whatever. Get Shredder. Don't even think about it. Don't think, oh, I wanna build the demolition. No. Just get Shredder. Like, talk to anybody that plays XCOM. You get Shredder. You can get this later. Get Shredder. Unless you want to heavily handicap yourself, seriously. If I'm going through some of the training facilities and any other squad mate has a chance to get Shredder, I'm spending the points on getting Shredder. I will spend XCOM points to get Shredder. Even if there's another ability that I really like, I get Shredder on my units because just taking away armor is so huge in this game. Now we get to the sergeant abilities. I just spent this whole time talking about how much I love Shredder. And now we get to probably my 2 least favorite abilities in the game. If you're going to get one of these, I would say Suppression is probably better. Because, remember, the Grenadier has an extra grenade. And there's another ability, literally in the next rank, that gives you a 3rd grenade. So when you're looking at demolition, like, why am I getting demolition when I could just toss a grenade? I'm going to do damage, and I'm going to get rid of the cover anyway. And it doesn't. Look at this. Deals no damage to the target. Like if it dealt half, I would consider demolition. I'd be like, okay, or at least do a little bit of damage. Like, why am I getting this when I can just chuck a grenade? And it still uses 2 ammo. Like that's ridiculous. Whereas if I look at suppression, like, okay, listen, I don't think I'm going to hit the guy, but I can at least take away his aim. And if he moves, I get a free attack on him. So I don't like either of these abilities because they're not proactively hitting the guy. They're not damaging the guy. They're just like, oh, maybe he won't attack you. Like, no, just chuck a grenade over there. Like, seriously. Just chuck a grenade and just do damage so that way they have to move. They have to retreat. Their cover's still going away. Like, just chuck a grenade. Seriously. Maybe these abilities are slightly better on lost missions because you don't want to be chucking grenades, but I mean, I don't like either of them. I'll be honest. Now we get to more fun abilities. I like heavy ordnance personally, but hollow targeting is very useful. Heavy ordnance, you get a bonus grenade. And it sounds really simple. It sounds like, oh, like, is that really that good of ability? Well, remember early on, you could get 3 grenades. Like, obviously, you can use your utility slot to get scope or the experimental rounds. But I just like heavy ordnance more. Give me 3 grenades. I'm just like I said, I'm going to be chucking grenades everywhere. Hollow targeting. Remember, any directed shot. So it doesn't matter if it's hit or miss. Everyone else gets plus 15 aim, and that can be huge. That can be the make or break point in terms of dealing a lot of damage to some of the bigger units. When you're dealing with like gatekeepers, which have very high defense, I think they have 35 defense, which is just stupid. Getting that extra 15 aim against it is pretty big. Again, I probably lean towards heavy ordnance, but hollow targeting is still a very, very useful ability. Not going to be mad if anybody takes this. I'm not going to say like you don't know how to play if you're taking hollow targeting. They're both very useful. This is just my preference. And that also leads into volatile mix. +2 damage. So now you have 3 grenades doing +2 damage. Again, very big, very useful. I like it because, again, I like grenades. So you're dealing, again, a shit ton of damage. So now those plasma grenades that do like 4 to 5, 5 to 6, whatever it is, now they're doing 7 to 8. Again, that's huge. Like those pods I was talking about earlier, those like 3 or 4 person pods. They have 4 people clumped together. You chuck a grenade. You have 4 people together. You're doing 30 damage. Like that's so stupid to be able to do. So I like volatile mix. Chain shot. Chain shot's a good ability. Similar to rapid fire, right? You're utilizing 2 shots to hit something. This does pair well with hollow targeting because you're aiming at the guy. And you're utilizing a lot of the damage to try to hit this one big boy, this one big guy. The one caveat is that if it hits, it has to hit in order to take that second shot. Whereas rapid fire is just boom, boom, 2 shots. So chain shot is definitely the worst of rapid shot. I don't know if they. I don't know if the Grenadiers are allowed. I don't know if the Grenadiers do get rapid shot. I think they do, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you see the XCOM abilities coming down below and you have a chance to get rapid shot, just get rapid shot over chain shot. But again, it's a very useful ability for some of those big guys. And later on, when your guy gets better and he has better aim, this 15 penalty to aim doesn't really matter as much. But again, both very useful abilities. This one's more useful if more enemies are clumped together, whereas chain shot is more useful if you have the one big guy. So next, major. I love salvo. Salvo is a very, very, very useful ability. You're getting an extra turn. You're getting an extra action out of your guy. You're able to utilize the grenade launcher. So you pop a grenade, and now the guy has no cover. You just shredded some armor if they have any, and you get to fire again. You get to shoot this guy again. So I love salvo. I like anything that gives me an extra turn, an extra movement, because that's huge in turn-based strategy games. That's huge where every turn counts, where you're trying to outmaneuver the enemy. So I love salvo. Hail of Bullets it's useful when you have to kill something. So let's say you're on one of those like big missions, or you're on a mission with like when you're battling the Chosen, and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I got to kill this guy right here, right now. Hail of Bullets is useful. It does use 3 ammo, so if you have an extended mag on your cannon, on your Gatling gun, it could definitely be useful. Because then you don't have to have a full gun in order to use it. So it can be useful. I prefer salvo. I think it's more useful overall. Whereas Hail of Bullets is really only situational in this like one instance where you have to kill the guy. Whereas salvo is useful all the time, right? You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be chucking grenades, and it's really good to pop the grenade launcher and then shoot the guy now that he doesn't have any cover. And now the Colonel abilities. These are 2 abilities where, again, I think Saturation Fire is more useful overall, but Rupture is really good when you have that one big guy. So it's kind of it actually is kind of similar to the Captain abilities in the sense that, right, Rupture, good against the big guy. Chain Shot, good against one big guy. Saturation Fire, good against a bunch of enemies that are kind of clumped up. Volatile Mix, good against enemies that are clumped up. So you use Saturation Fire, right? And you're hitting all these enemies, or I shouldn't say hitting because you can miss Saturation Fire, but you have a chance to hit all these enemies with your beam cannon to shred all their armor to, oh, look at that, destroy all cover. You're utilizing it to open up the enemy. And there's times where like you'll have like 3 or 4, like you'll have like 2 to 4 enemies that are all utilizing like this one point of cover. If you can get them all in that cone, so right, like imagine like there's a cone right here. Like if you can get them all within that cone, well, let's say you hit like 2 of them, even or 3 of them. Like even if you don't hit all of them, you're still destroying their cover and you're opening them up for more shots. And if you hit 2 of them, well, that's better than just firing one beam cannon round. So Saturation Fire, I think, is much more useful, but don't discount Rupture. Utilizing Rupture, because look at this, you deal critical damage. That's important because it's not just a standard mag shot. It's not just that they're taking +3 damage. You're doing crit damage. So now part of it is you have to hit. You have to hit the guy, but then 3 additional damage from all sources. So the big Sectopod, the big gatekeeper, you hit him with a Rupture shot, and now he's just taking a huge bonus damage. So again, very useful for that one big boy. I think Saturation Fire is more useful. So just going down the line, going down what I think is more useful. I'm going to repeat it again. Do not consider blast padding. Just get Shredder. I think Suppression is probably more useful. I think Heavy Ordnance is more useful overall, but again, Hollow Target is also very useful. This one's a coin flip 50-50. Again, I prefer Volatile Mix. Chain Shot can be useful. I think it's probably like a 60-40, but again, it's really, I think it's closer than some of the other abilities. Volatile Mix, very useful. On this one, I think Salvo is more useful than Hail of Bullets. So I think you go Salvo most of the time. And then this one, Saturation Fire, I think is more useful. But again, Rupture, very useful for some of the big enemies, especially later on. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, good luck, Commander.